Hello everyone, my name is Sharkbait, and this is going to be a video of my regular season match for the League of Extraordinary Mage Warriors. And today, I'm playing against Frozen. And as you'll see here in just a second, I bring out the Anvil Throne Warlord, while he brings out the Malachi Priest. And so we're going through the setup real quick. We're going to kind of speed through that. So for the first round, I decided to open up with the Battle Forge and the Mana Flower, which is a pretty common opening for a lot of mages. It's not just the not just the Warlord. And here we go. Phase change, action phases. Anyway, so he's actually going to open up similarly, but it's not going to be identical because I don't think he does the Mana Crystal. In fact, instead, he conjures up the Hand of Bim Shalah. And the Hand of Bim Shalah, as you know, will give either an armor or a melee +1 once per turn. And so I'm going to move up, drop the flower, and then I'm going to drop a Battle Forge in the same zone that I am in now, while I'm pretty sure he drops a Battle Forge just to the near center, well, far center from me. So there's the forge going down, and it's a fairly aggressive forge, so that tells me that he's going to come after me pretty quickly, and is not really afraid of it getting torn down. So we're going to have an aggressive priest here, which is fairly uncommon from the ones that I've played against. Most of them tend to be of the Temple of Asera build, the variety. And so in response to that, I decided to prepare the Forge Hammer, Akira's Favor, and a Moonglow Amulet. This will give me some economy rolling a little bit, and if I can survive the rush that I'm expecting to come here, I'll be in a better position to continue on through the game, whereas he's kind of putting all of his eggs in one basket. If the rush doesn't work, he's done. And this is what I'm thinking. That's not always the case, but that's about where I'm leaning on this subject. So we both deploy. I deploy the hammer. He deploys the Enchanter's Ring, and that should trigger something like interesting. So we run with an Enchanter's Ring build here, and so during the first quick cast he puts a face down enchantment on himself. I didn't do anything aggressive during the first quick cast, so the first thing I'm going to end up doing is casting a Moonglow Amulet since I get the discount from the hammer. And I'm kind of just interested to see what he's going to do now. So he reveals the cheetah speed that he cast on him in the first quick cast phase, moves forward, and again enchants himself. So we're looking at quickly lots of enchantments starting to show up onto the board. It's only turn 2, and there's already 2 down, and I'm expecting more since he's got the Enchanter's Ring out there anyway. And so I'm going to go ahead and throw on the Akira's Favor, and I'm going to leave it face down for now, though. I don't really need it yet, so the idea is just to wait until you need it, then reveal it. And so at the end of round 3, or excuse me, for the beginning of round 3, I prepared the leather choses, the leather pants on the forge, leather boots, and a ballista. And the idea here is, since it's his initiative, I'll use my last quick cast to drop a ballista in hopes of having that help me take out the Battle Forge next turn. What I'm also going to do is, well, it depends on what he does at this point since he's got initiative. So he plays out his armor, he plays out chitin armor. So that's going to help not prevent, but it'll help reduce the chances of corrodes sticking. So, or at least it'll help prevent or lower the chances of there being a double corrode, which is pretty helpful when you're trying to stack armor and that's the armor you got. So that's first quick cast. I go ahead and skip, and so does he. And when we're in the creature actions phase, he does go ahead and he first quick casts Seeking Dispel, actually, and that takes out my Akira's Favor, which it's not too bad. I have other enchantments. The enchantments aren't a big part of this book. I mean, they're not a small part, but they're not the main focus of this book. And then he goes ahead and actually dissolves the Forge Hammer right away. I'm kind of curious as to that one too. I mean, it's like, that's a good play because I won't be smacking him with it, but I think it might have cost him a bit of tempo there. Not really sure. It didn't really hurt me too much. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with what I was doing. I'll reveal the boots. And I'm actually going to drop the ballista into his zone right now. And the idea there is that I get to use it first, so no matter what, I'll get a shot out of it. And I'll get to shoot the Battle Forge. If all goes well, I'll get to do 2 other things next turn. If it doesn't, he's probably going to punch the ballista and not me. Which I would prefer, to me being hit. So on the forge this time, I'm going to put the Harsh Forge plate. I'll put on my armor. I'll put another Akira's Favor back, or I'll bring Akira's Favor and prepare it, but I'm just gonna use that as a backup plan, and then the primary plan is a hurl rock in case the Battle Forge doesn't die to the ballista. So I cast a Harsh Forge Plate, and I put on the rune that gives it +1 armor. So I'm sitting on 5 armor right now already, and it's amazing how quickly that happens with the Warlord, the Amplethrone Warlord. And so during the first deployment phase, he also deploys the Dawnbreaker Ring, so he gets to punch a little bit harder. Or if he brings out Pillar of Light or something like that, some other light spell, he'll get to hit a little bit harder with an extra die. So we skip right through the first quick cast phase, and I go right into using the Ballista, and I'm hoping for a good roll here. And it ends up being a decent roll. It's not enough to kill it, unfortunately. I didn't roll way higher than usual, but the dice were roughly average on this one. So I'm going to end up doing the Hurl Rock backup plan. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to move over one. I'm going to throw the rock at the Battle Forge and try to knock it down all in one fell swoop so he doesn't get to use it again. And it ended up working because I got the 2 critical damage right there. And I'm actually just going to let him go ahead and take his turn. So this is an interesting priest build, like I said earlier, because most of the priests I run up to or run up against are a lot slower progressing. They're not in your face by turn 2. So when he does this enchantment, he's going to reveal the Bear Strength, and I believe he's also going to reveal a Critical Strike. So he's going to try to punch through most of the armor I've got, or at least I think that. But then he attacks the Ballista. And so this Ballista is going to be hurting a bit because he goes right through the armor, and he ends up doing, I think, 5 damage to it. So that's quite a bit of damage to a Ballista considering it's only got 8 life. It means it's going to probably die to the next hit that it takes. And so that about ends the turn. I'm going to use the last quick cast and put Akira's Favor back onto myself. But ultimately that's the end of this round. And so looking into the next round, I'm trying to think about how I can start putting damage on him. I need to start pressuring him now since the Ballista won't be able to do it. I'm kind of hoping he takes the next turn to attack the Ballista so he's not hitting me in the face as well. And so, with all of that, I decide to, well, let's end the next turn, but I decide to flip to the next phase and prepare a Spiked Buckler, which will help when he actually does start to punch me, Bear Strength, and a Critical Strike. I don't plan on casting both of those. It's more of if he somehow puts more armor on, I'll have the Critical Strike and use it, or if he decides to not do that, I already have Piercing 1 from the Buckler, and I can just Bear Strength myself. What I should have also done in this case, since I can't cast and reveal the Bear Strength, I should definitely have put the Shield Rune on the Buckler. That would have given me, I think, a 6+ defense and the Counter Strike for every time it procs. That's a way better use of my mana than doing nothing with it. So looking back on it, that's something I would have done differently. But I didn't end up ruining it. It still ends up being a Buckler. I mean, it's good. It's got the Piercing +1 with 3 die attack. He's going to go ahead and quick cast something face down onto his Critical Strike. And this is one of 2 things. It's either a decoy or it's an Arcane Ward. The Arcane Ward is there to protect it. The decoy is there to make me think he's protecting it with an Arcane Ward. So, as a Dwarf Warlord, I don't tend to put too much stock into playing the undoing game. If I can still play my game while letting them play theirs, I just need to play mine better. I'm going to lose an undoing game, especially when I'm using arcane spells to undo everything, because those things cost triple. So eventually we figure out that we're just going to have it next to him, and it'll be attached to the Critical Strike. There's no actual way for that. Octagon doesn't quite recognize the fact that you can attach it to enchantments yet. And so we get there eventually, I swear. And then he gets the mana back because he actually paid too much. Because he gets the mana from the ring. Anyway, once we have that sorted out, I believe this is the turn he punches the Ballista to splinters now. So, oh, it's still first quick cast. That's my bad. So that was his first quick cast. He attaches that to his enchantment, and I'm 99.5% sure it ended up being an Arcane Ward. And I believe I will pass right through the first quick cast. Oh, or I'm going to end up doing it. There we go. Done with the first quick cast phase. So, on to the actions phase, in which he has initiative. So he's going to use the ready marker. He's going to give the priest a melee +1, so it's already melee +3 total because of Bear Strength. And he's got another one from the Dawnbreaker ring. So he's talking about a 6 die attack, and it just shatters the ballista. I didn't need it anyway at this point. It did its job. It did exactly what I wanted, and that stopped the Battle Forge. So that way there he doesn't have two things spawning traits onto him. And so, so I'm going to end up actually just quick casting Bear Strength onto myself. I'm going to leave it face down since I don't have the mana to do much else at the moment, but then I'm going to punch him. I'm going to use the shield. It's got piercing 1. I can't see a reason not to roll it, so I might as well go for it. And I ended up rolling 3 damage onto him because of the 1 normal damage got blocked by the 1 armor he had remaining. And that'll be the end of the turn. It's just not super exciting yet, but at this point we're at the clash, or the merge, or whatever Intangible likes to call it. But either way, we're in the fighting right now. So next turn I actually end up preparing the Gauntlets of Strength to give me some more dice when I'm rolling. So that'll put me up to a 6 die attack. And I plan on casting Critical Strike on myself and revealing that in Bear Strength, so that the way there I don't have to worry about his armor. The regrowth is there as a backup plan, in case I take a lot of damage and I'm like, oh no, I do need to start healing right now. And it's not much, but it's something to start. So, like I said, the plan actually goes pretty close to according to plan. During the first quick cast, I don't think I do it, but I'm letting him kind of dictate what happens in the first quick cast, just so I can see if he's going to continue running with the turbo enchantment build that he's doing, and he definitely is. So he enchants himself again, and in this case I figure it won't make a difference whether I cast during the first quick cast or right before I attack. So I don't want to tip my hand too much. So I cast Critical Strike on myself. I'm going to reveal the Bear Strength. I'm going to reveal the other Critical Strike as well. So I, in essence, have 6 dice piercing 4 because of the piercing plus 1 on the buckler. So I'm going to go ahead and swing that at him, and you're going to be floored here because I ended up rolling a ton of damage. This is not the first time, or actually it's the first time this game thus far, but the dice were pretty heavily in my favor today, or for this match, and it was just ridiculous in some cases. So what he actually does after the attack, though, is reveals Circle of Light, which is a promo that is a damage barrier, a light damage barrier, and rolls pretty high and does a good job dazing me. So it actually turns out to be a pretty good play. Granted, he took a lot of damage in the process, but had I rolled on average, the daze chance would be huge, because it's 50% defense, basically. But yeah, I rolled like I, would hope to, but almost never see. And I think that caught him off guard a little bit, because now he's at 14 damage at 34 health, or 34 life. So, that is what it is. So he's going to pay 2 mana and enchant me, actually. And at this point, I think he probably wanted to attack me, but the spiked buckler probably dissuaded that. I do have 5 armor, but he's also got Critical Strike. So I only had a total of 2 armor, really, at this point. So unless that's a rust or something that could help him out, I think it might have been better to attack. So for the forge, I prepare an elemental cloak. I prepare the regrowth again as a backup plan, and I get ready. I bring a ballista as I'm going to drop another one so that I can shoot you again next turn. And I'm only really counting on getting 1 attack with it, because I'm kind of also hoping it distracts him from hitting me again. So if I drop the ballista at the end of the turn and use it next turn, the idea is that he goes after the ballista instead of hitting me, which can get me another. I'm already at a 14 damage advantage at this point. If I can get up to 20 plus, I think I got the game out of reach. So the ballista is really there as a distraction. I mean, it's a nice, fantastic card, and it's great for warlords, because in this league it's warlord or war mage only. But it is kind of a distraction in this case. So we skip right ahead to the creature actions phase, and he actually goes ahead and pays the 14 mana for a Purge Magic. So that gets rid of the Bear Strength, gets rid of the Critical Strike, and actually gets rid of his own card, which ends up being a Nullify, I believe. So we decided to just get rid of that too. So my Kira's Favor's gone, my Bear Strength is gone, my Critical Strike is gone. So I'm back down to that 4 dice piercing 1 attack that I would have because of the gauntlets and the shield. So it's unfortunate to lose the enchantments, but I have backups of pretty much everything of those. The Akira's Favor was already the backup, so I don't have any more of those. But I still have another Bear Strength. I still have another Critical Strike, should I feel like I need them. But I can also already pierce half of his armor. So the other move he does is actually enchant himself yet again. And at some point I'm thinking, when's he going to hit me? He's got to do something sometime. So I'm just gonna go right ahead. I'm gonna risk the shield, or I'm gonna risk the daze. Excuse me. I end up avoiding dazing, so I roll and I get another 4 damage on 4 dice, so 3 of it'll get through, and that puts him at 17. Circle of Light's gonna hit me right back, and actually do, I think, 0 damage without. Oh no, it does a daze this time too. So the dazes are a little risky, but I mean at this point he's already taken the hit. He might as well throw the condition marker back. So I think it's a good play on his part. And all the while, my Battleforge is still there, just racking up armor on myself. And I use the last quick cast there of the round to drop the ballista. You notice he also reveals a regrowth. That's going to start helping him heal a little bit, but I think from where I'm standing now that I have enough of a damage lead that I can make this happen regardless, as long as I can throw it on there before he heals too much from being a holy mage. So for round 8, I actually don't prepare anything on the Battleforge just in case he goes after it, but I plan to put a bear strength on myself and punch him again. The force push is there as a backup plan just in case he tries to run away, gets out of my grip, I don't know, does some kind of tricky thing. I want to make sure he's in range so I can hit him again and make sure that the ballistic can hit him as well. Now, granted, I get to go first, so there aren't a whole lot of tricks he could have pulled, but there are a couple of them here and there, and I wanted to make sure that both me and the ballista got to hit him. Preferably me with a bear strength, but as a backup plan, at least I get to hit him. So I am going to go ahead and cast the bear strength onto myself using the first quick cast, but I will do that after I shoot him with the ballista, because it makes more sense to guarantee that I get to hit him while he's in range in case he tries to run away. So I will go ahead and do that. I will roll the 5 dice. I will roll the 5 damage with the piercing 3, so all of the damage will stick, and that puts him up to 20 damage. At that point, I was like, you know what? It's worth it. Let's stack the bear strength on and risk the daze again. It's a 50-50 shot. I might as well take it. And here it goes. I actually avoid fumbling the attack yet again, and I roll another ridiculous roll. I mean, I place 7 damage onto the priest on 6 dice. It was just really rolling my way that game. The dice really helped me out. They were favorable. I like to think I played pretty well too, but the dice were really, really favorable on my side. And so the Circle of Light actually attacks back, and because of the toughness that the dwarf or the Anvil Throne Warlord has, I actually don't get dazed. Which I was pretty happy to see, because at this point I'm feeling pretty good about ending the game pretty quickly. I think I've got a good shot here because I can just chase him down wherever he runs, if he runs. And so if he actually does what I hope he does, which is go and attack the ballista, I have an even better chance of winning this match because I don't have any damage on me, and I don't want to take any damage. So what he ends up doing, I end up removing the daze. We were waiting for me to do that, and he was very nice about pointing that out. So he's going to spend his a quick cast action and cast, I believe it ends up being Lion Savagery. We can double check here in a second, but he casts Lion Savagery on himself. Gives himself the melee +1, takes off the damage. There's the Lion Savagery confirmed. So the Lion Savagery has been confirmed. And he moves over and does exactly what I hope he does, which is attack the ballista. And so he actually ends up rolling 8 dice and just absolutely shatters it. Rolls 12 damage on 8 dice, which is great. That he also is like, it's not just me benefiting from the rolls. I'm just putting those rolls onto the mage. And I've had 2 of them now to his 1 in terms of ridiculous rolls. So, yeah, like I said, the dice favored me a lot in this one, but he does have 1 roll here at least, and it just shatters my ballista. 8 critical damage on 8 dice. That's legit on any given roll, not even including the 4 normal. So the next turn, I decide that it's time to start planning the elemental wand, so I can put a hurl boulder on it. I'm going to bring a hurl rock just in case from the beginning, and essentially what I want to do is, since he has the initiative, I'm going to cast the elemental wand on myself. I will prepare a hurl boulder down for it, and I will also give it the pay 1 less mana rune, because I plan on casting it more than once. So what I end up doing is putting the hurl boulder down, and the idea here is I'm going to use the rock while he's in range during the first quick cast because he can't get away from that unless he teleports. And if he does run, I don't have to move very far to use the elemental one to hurl a boulder at him. So I prepared both a range 1 and a range 2 spell. And the only thing that was risky in my mind was the fact that he's about to try to heal. I didn't have any poison blood, any way to stop him from healing. So he's going to heal average, which is 8 dice, which he heals 8 damage. And I'm just hoping to reapply all of that damage right away before he can react. Or before he can really stop me. So unless he prepared a double heal, I think I got it. The hurl rock ends up rolling really, really well again. So you'll see here, I throw 5 dice at him and I get a total of 8 damage rolled, one of which was normal. So I rolled 7 criticals on 5 dice. It doesn't have any piercing, so it only ends up sticking 7 damage. But 7 damage on 5 dice is a pretty ridiculous roll. So I'm pretty happy with the rolls that they went my way, but at some point you can't count on rolls like that every game. So I need to make sure that my play is also along with it. I think I still made the right plays during this one, given the circumstances of what happened. And I actually think Frozen has a really good book here too. He had fell victim to a hot dice. It's just what it is. It wasn't like he played badly or anything. I don't think. If I had to change one thing of what he did, from my perspective, I probably would have attacked me more. And so he goes ahead, moves away, and enchants himself. So he's definitely safe from me punching him. And the enchantment turns out to be Divine Protection, so that makes me roll 1 less dice. He's trying everything he can to make sure that he lives long enough to do anything. So I'm going to move over, and I'm going to hurl that boulder that I had prepared. And I'm going to roll, I think it's 6 dice because of the Aegis 1. And I'm going to roll really well with it. So 2 of those damage are blocked, and I rolled 8 total. So I do 6 damage, which is an above average roll against 2 armor. So 6 damage on 6 dice yet again. The dice definitely helped me out. So all of the damage that he had healed has now been put back on plus some. And at this point, he's got enough damage on him that my plan is to make sure I stay in range to hit him yet again the same way next turn, but I have the first quick cast, so I am definitely going to be hurling that boulder right at him. So the preparation for the next spell, I have the hurl boulder on the wand. I have a helm of command that I'll actually put on a battle fury just in case the match continues to go along. And honestly, that's all I'm hoping I need, because I also have charge in case I need to go be fast because he can't get away from me. I just need to make sure I apply damage. So during the first quick cast, I'm actually going to go ahead and use plan A, which is the boulder. I'm going to throw 6 more dice at him and hope to do enough to kill him. And 6 dice roll, and I end up doing 3 normal, 4 critical, and that's enough. That's going to do 5 damage and knock him out of the game. And that was a well-played game by Frozen. There's not much he could have done. He just ran into the hot dice. And so that actually concludes the first match I've played in the League of Extraordinary Mage Warriors that's going on right now. And so I'd like to say good job to Frozen. Good luck in the future. Stick with that book because you ran into the hot dice. There's not much you could have done on that one. And honestly, that's about it. The league, I'll leave links to the league in the description section, and I will put a link to the standings as well. But that's about it for now, and I may not have done it this game, but when in doubt, kill it with fire.